You are living inside a hallucination. You look at your smartphone, the signal bars are full, the banking app glows green, the stock tickers stream in real time. You believe in the cloud. You believe your wealth is safe, stored in an ethereal digital fortress, accessible from anywhere, at any time. This is the greatest deception of the modern age. There is no cloud. There is no wireless economy. There is only the ocean floor. The entire global financial system, trillions of dollars in daily transfers, your savings, your identity, the logistical brain of the world, hangs by a thread the thickness of a garden hose, buried in the cold, crushing mud of the Atlantic. While the media distracts you with inflation percentages and interest rate hikes, they ignore the knife currently resting against the throat of the world. We are not talking about a hacker in a basement. We are talking about physical severance. Right now, as you read this, vessels like the Russian ship Yantar are loitering over critical data arteries in the Atlantic. They call it oceanographic research. This is a lie. Their track patterns coincide suspiciously with the most critical data arteries, the areas that would be targeted in any hypothetical severance scenario. If that cut happens, Netflix does not simply buffer. The SWIFT system goes dark. Credit cards turn into useless plastic. The verification codes you rely on to access your life never arrive. The velocity of money hits a brick wall. In 1914, the world learned this lesson the hard way. A single night of severance blinded an empire. Today, the shears are open again. The water is cold, and the silence is coming.
This is Finance Beyond Seas. We explore the moments where the currents of maritime history and the tides of the global economy collide. We're here to navigate the wreckage of the past, to find the financial lessons that will protect you today. We analyze history and systems, not futures. Nothing presented here is financial advice. It is purely historical and economic commentary.
The mechanism of global dominance is not found in parliaments. It is found in logistics. The fundamental law of financial infrastructure is the law of physicality. We have deluded ourselves into thinking the digital economy is weightless. It is not. Data is physical. It travels as light through glass fibers, and those fibers must lay somewhere. 99% of all international data traffic travels underwater. Satellites carry less than 1%. The internet is not a network of the sky. It is a network of the seabed. The historical blueprint is ruthless and repetitive. Every hegemonic power in history secures the trade routes. In the age of sail, it was the wind lanes. In the age of steam, it was the coaling stations. In the age of information, it is the submarine cable. When a rival power realizes it cannot defeat the hegemon in open combat, it attacks the infrastructure. It targets the nervous system. This is known as asymmetric strangulation. If you cut the communication lines, you do not need to sink the battleships. A blind fleet is a useless fleet. A disconnected bank is a bankrupt bank. We saw this logic applied in the 17th century with the blockade of Dutch harbors. We saw it in the 20th century with the telegraph wars. The pattern is a mathematical certainty. When tension rises, the attack moves to the choke points. The system is only as strong as its most vulnerable submerged mile. And right now, those miles are undefended. Let us navigate to the definitive moment this weapon was forged. The date is August 4, 1914. The world stands on the precipice of the First World War. The diplomatic ultimatums have expired. The armies are mobilizing. In Berlin, the German High Command is confident. They possess a powerful fleet, a robust economy, and a global network of colonies. They believe they can coordinate a global war from the heart of Europe. They are wrong. Hours after the declaration of war, under the cover of darkness and thick fog, the British cable ship CS Telconia slips quietly into the English Channel off the coast of Emden. It does not fire a single shot. It does not launch a torpedo. It lowers grappling hooks into the murky depths. The crew drags the seabed until they snag the heavy gutta percha insulated cables that connect Germany to the Americas, to Spain, and to Africa. With methodical precision, the British crew hoists the cables to the deck. They bring out the axes and saws. They sever the German Empire's voice. But they do not stop there. To ensure the damage is irreparable during the war, they drag the severed ends miles apart, dropping them back into the abyss. In one night, 5 transatlantic cables are destroyed. The effect is immediate and catastrophic. Germany is deafened. The Berlin stock market is severed from New York. Prices in Germany detach from global reality. They cannot negotiate credits. They cannot coordinate with their merchant fleet efficiently. Their diplomats in Washington are forced to send messages through neutral countries or, humiliatingly, via British-controlled cables where every word is intercepted and decoded by Room 40 in London.
The German mark did not collapse solely because of the battlefield. It collapsed because it lost its connection to the global ledger. The British understood that information is a commodity and silence is a weapon. The Telconia mission proved that you can strangle a nation's economy without ever touching its soil. The disconnect was total. The isolation was absolute. This was the first instance of modern information warfare, executed with grappling hooks and steam engines. The pattern did not end in the English Channel, it merely evolved. The geography of vulnerability shifted, but the strategy remained the same. Move forward to the height of the Cold War. The venue changes to the Sea of Okhotsk, a frozen, hostile body of water north of Japan, claimed entirely by the Soviet Union. The Soviets believed their internal military communications were secure, buried deep underwater, shielded by ice and the Iron Curtain. The United States Navy disagreed. In Operation Ivy Bells, the submarine USS Halibut penetrated Soviet waters. Divers descended into the freezing darkness, locating the Soviet communication cable. They did not cut it, they tapped it. For years, the West listened to the financial and military heartbeat of the East. This proved the second corollary of the blueprint. The ocean floor is not sovereign territory. It is the Wild West. If you can tap a line, you can cut a line. The Soviets relied on the opacity of the sea for protection. It failed them. Consider a more modern accidental warning. In 2008, purely by chance, ship anchors severed cables off the coast of Egypt. The result was not just slow internet. The entire financial architecture of the Middle East and India stuttered. Trade floors in Dubai went dark. Call centers in Bangalore fell silent. Millions of dollars in transactions failed to clear in seconds. This was an accident, a mistake. Imagine the devastation of a coordinated, intentional surgical strike. In both the Cold War and the modern mishaps, the lesson is stark. We build systems of immense complexity, relying on just-in-time data. Yet we lay the foundation of these systems in unguarded international waters. We have built a digital skyscraper on a foundation of wet sand. The British knew it in 1914, the Americans knew it in the 1970s. And today, looking at the map of the North Atlantic, the current adversaries know exactly where the scissors must be applied. Return to the present moment. The threat is no longer a secret operation, it is a public display of capability. We are watching a significant escalation in dark fleet activity. Ships turning off their transponders, vessels lingering over cable landing stations in Ireland, Portugal, and the Nordics. The Yantar, a Russian main directorate of deep-sea research vessel, is ostensibly an oceanographic ship, yet it carries many submersibles capable of descending to depths where the cables lie. It has been tracked lawyering over the specific fiber optic bundles that carry the majority of transatlantic financial traffic. Why map the location of a cable if you do not intend to interact with it?
The threat today is exponentially higher than in 1914. In 1914, communication was slow. Today, the financial markets operate on microseconds. High-frequency trading algorithms rely on the latency speed of light through glass. If a major transatlantic cluster is severed, the redundancy routes will be instantly overwhelmed. The packet loss will not just drop a Zoom call, it will cause a liquidity crisis. The SWIFT network, the messaging system that moves money between banks, requires constant, uninterrupted connectivity to verify ledgers. If the verification fails, the transaction is rejected. Imagine a scenario where European banks cannot settle with the Federal Reserve for 48 hours. The interbank lending market freezes. Trust evaporates. The digital numbers in your account become theoretical because the bridge to convert them into reality has been burned. The screens in Times Square and Canary Wharf show green arrows. They show growth. They are lying to you. They are displaying a signal that exists only as long as the glass thread holds. Down below, in the darkness, the pressure is building. The capabilities to sever these lines are fully deployed. We are in phase 5 of the cycle, the target acquisition. The adversaries have mapped the nervous system. They are waiting for the signal to perform the lobotomy. In every historical instance of infrastructure collapse, there is a minority that thrives. They are the ones who did not rely solely on the primary system. When the German cables were cut in 1914, the merchants who survived were the ones who had diversified their communication routes and held physical assets outside the blockade zone. The strategy for the modern era is analog resilience. The digital world is efficient, but it is fragile. The analog world is slow, but it is robust. You must create a personal air gap. This means decreasing your dependency on immediate, high-frequency digital verification. Do not keep 100% of your records in the cloud. The cloud is just someone else's computer underwater. Maintain physical copies of critical financial documents, ownership deeds, identity papers, account ledgers. If the screen goes dark, paper is the only proof of ownership you have. Furthermore, consider the liquidity of your assets in a disconnected scenario. If the SWIFT system hangs, digital numbers are frozen. Assets that are physically within your jurisdiction or accessible without international wire transfers become premium. This is not about hoarding cash under a mattress. It is about the proximity of value. Can you access your resources if the ocean goes silent? If the answer is no, you are exposed. The storm does not care about your portfolio yield. It cares about your access. Build a bridge that does not cross the water. The ocean is indifferent to our technology. It swallows ships, it crushes submarines, and it will snap cables if history demands it. We are navigating through a thick fog, and the sonar is picking up large shapes moving in the deep. The global economy is a fragile vessel floating on a violent sea. Most are partying in the ballroom, oblivious to the water rising in the hold. Do not be among them. You must learn to read the charts that others ignore. You must understand the plumbing of the world, not just the paint. Set your compass. Subscribe to Finance Beyond Seas. In a world of noise, we are the only ones listening to the silence of the deep.